Is Jonathan Blow gaming's Einstein? Einstein's theory of relativity changed the course of theoretical physics as we know it, while the success of Braid almost single-handedly changed the landscape of video games by popularizing the indie movement. Likewise, both Einstein and Blow are held up as these singular enigmatic geniuses who show indignation towards the establishment and march to the beat of their own drum. And they both have their own eccentricities. Einstein was known to start weeping when he played the violin. Blow does Tai Chi during interviews and may or may not have peed in a bottle while making The Witness. So, all of this makes me wonder, should we consider Jonathan Blow's games as the work of a genius? Much like Einstein's theories on energy quanta and space-time, Blow's games are based on ideas that challenge conventional wisdom and don't seem like they could possibly work right. This is readily apparent in his early prototypes. Oracle Billiards, for instance, is your average billiards video game, except that you can see where the balls will go before you take your shot. Blow thought this would change a game of skill into one of strategy. When designing a game, Blow generally begins with a game mechanic that you are already well versed in, like shooting pool, and then tinkers around with it to see what else is possible. In Nice Wrench, for instance, Blow took Fly Wrench, a game where the player dies repeatedly, and removed the death to make it a game about exploration. These strange experiments paid off when Braid hit Xbox Live and received tons of accolades. With Braid, Blow took the idea of jumping in a platformer and flipped it around, so you could reverse your jump by rewinding time. This in and of itself is amusing to the Soulja boys of this world, but it's far from Braid's only trick. The cool thing about Braid is how it continues to tweak and subvert your expectations for the duration of it. In one interview, Blow compares this to a plot twist, except that it happens with mechanics, so you get this new twist on rewinding time in each of its 6 worlds. In World 2, you simply learn how to reel back time. In World 3, you find out that some objects are not affected by rewind. In World 4, time goes forward when you walk right and backwards when you walk left. Let's pause for a spoiler alert. You can click here to skip the bad stuff. And the twists keep coming until the Braid guy arrives at World 1, which is actually the final world in the game. You'll see why in a second. The final mechanical pivot comes in the form of a stage where you learn the real meaning of the game. In this moment, your whole perspective of the game changes in a flash. The level reverses itself. The story takes a dark turn. Your character goes from being a love-struck hero to a creep. That's why he's trying to rewind time. It's all so clear to you now. The ending of Braid is signature Jonathan Blow, and The Witness picks up where it leaves off. As Blow has said in an interview with Gama Sutra, he designs his puzzles in order to bring about magic moments that happen in the player's mind. What Blow is talking about is sometimes called the Eureka effect, or the experience of spontaneously understanding a problem you weren't even consciously thinking about. For instance, Einstein discovered the key to special relativity while having a routine conversation with a friend. And it just so happens that The Witness is specially designed to manufacture these moments of enlightenment. So, how does it work? To quote David Perkins, author of The Eureka Effect, The Art and Logic of Breakthrough, learning often means changing the game board, not just learning fancier strategies on the same board with the same pieces. And Blow is well aware of this with the puzzles in The Witness. For example, you will discover a baffling puzzle and soon become stumped. I guarantee it. The Witness is spring-loaded with surprises that are spread across a huge island. And the beautiful thing about it is, it actually makes the player think like a genius. As Blow has said, some puzzle designers like to design for aha moments, where the player gets stuck, then they figure it out, and then the player feels smart. So I think the verdict is still out on whether Blow will go down as the Einstein of games, although he certainly talks about space and time a lot. But maybe it doesn't matter if he's Einstein or not. What's important is that he designs his puzzles in such a way that it makes you feel like Einstein. So what do you think? Is Jonathan Blow worthy of the title, the greatest mind in games, or is there someone else who you think think deserves the belt. If you remember, we recently put together a survey to find out what types of episodes that you, our game show viewers, were interested in seeing. Well, PBS Digital Studios has put together a survey of their own. They want to know what types of digital series you're most interested in. If you'd like your voice heard, PBS would love to hear from you. And 25 participants will be chosen at random to win PBS Digital Studios t-shirts. They're awesome. I own one. Just click on the link in the description and take a few minutes to fill out the survey. And finally, if you like what you saw, please subscribe. I'll see you next week.
Hey everybody, so last week we talked about voxels and their relationship to the importance and look of Minecraft. Let's see what you had to say. So Bart Stickers is one of the few dissenters in the comments who prefers polygons to voxels. He says, I'd still say polygons are usually the better choice since it's much less work to create objects computationally. And this is a great point. As we talked about in the video, the advantage of polygons are that they're very economical, where it would take a whole bunch of voxels to make a flat surface like the ground. An artist can just throw a single polygon on there to take care of it. So polygons are still great, but my point was that voxels enable this whole different type of game space, and if they become the standard, we'd probably all be doing different types of things inside of games. Gajenza Fox says, weren't there a few games back in the 80s, mostly in the arcade space, that used vector-based graphics? 1980s Battlezone, for example, to be very specific. Yes, there were. It's true that some classic arcade games like Asteroids used vector graphics or polygon technology back in the day. But the thing about those games is that they had to be played on a vector monitor and didn't really work on television displays. The Vectrix, rather, this is an old failed game console that I'm sure at least one of you owns, that came out with its own vector monitor, is an example of the time. So there's this really big limitation. And another factor was that polygons had going against them. Luckily, they made a comeback.